we don't ask ourselves, what are we good at? And then where can we go to do what we are good at? We ask ourselves, what do customers want? And do I know everything that I have to do? Do I have all the skills to be relevant to a customer, not today, but in 5 years and in 10 years? And it became clear to us we needed to learn how to build electronics. And I hope it'll become clear why that's true in a moment. And then this was our vision for Kindle. It's been the same since we launched, which is to reinvent reading while emulating the best features of the book. The spectacular thing about reading, I suspect the reason why all of us are here at the Biennale, why we love reading books, is because when we open a book and we look at it, it disappears. Your mind does not even register that it's thinking about turning the page of a book. All you have is this stream of words that are coming through your eyes into your brain. And so we had to try in some small ways to make sure that the Kindle device disappeared the same way that a print book disappears.
So that's a real controversial one. Russ, that's from Fernando. Russ, what book are you reading at this moment on your Kindle? Several. Maybe it's not a Kindle, I don't know.
50 tonos de Kindle. Of course. I just finished reading the George R. R. Martin series, The Song of Ice and Fire. I'm a big, and I mean, if you want to talk about a book where you feel desperate to go to page 1 of the next book when you finish the last page of a book, yeah, read that series if you've not. I'm also reading a series of those Kindle singles that I talked about by a writer named Mishka Shubeli, who's in Brooklyn. And he wrote a Kindle single called Are You Lonesome Tonight, which I won't give away, but is an extraordinary book. And the next book I want to read is a book called Ready Player One. Do you know this book?
No, I don't.
It's been recommended to me very highly. Oh, also, if you've not read it, in Brazil, do you have Unbroken, the Laura Hillenbrand book? I don't know what the name is in Portuguese.
I don't know.
Unbroken in English is by the writer is named Laura Hillenbrand. Is one of the greatest books I've read in the last few years. It's the story of an Italian American who was born in California. He ran in the 1936 Olympic Games with Jesse Owens.
Wow.
He literally met Hitler, and then he goes into the U.S. Army. He goes in the Army Air Corps. He crashes his plane into the Pacific on another rescue mission. And he and 2 other soldiers go in 2 rafts and drift for 42 days, 2,600 miles to the west. And the island they hit is occupied by Japanese. And that's about 1/3 of the way through the book.
All right. Well, it's not published. I'm sure there's some publishers here who could buy the rights.
Good.
I have a question here. What's Amazon's view on educational books? And then I want to ask you, what happened to the big Kindle?
Yes.
That I've never seen anywhere.
Yes.
Just on the internet. So.
Well, on educational books, first of all, we're very, of course, optimistic and believe that, I mean, just look at the size of textbooks, the price of textbooks, the weight to carry around for a student. And so it's very obvious, I think, not just to us, but to everybody in the business, that digital will be a very big opportunity. There are, of course, difficult challenges. I talked about magazines before, and about how good the print magazine business experience is. Well, in a different way for a textbook, when you take a book on physics, you lay it out this big because you put a chart and a beautiful color picture and text all next to each other, improve the ability to learn. And so transforming that experience into a good, reflowable digital textbook is much more difficult and will take more time to do well than taking, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and just laying out the text and let somebody read that way.
Okay.
And so the technical challenges and the customer experience challenges of educational books, particularly in life sciences, engineering, mathematics, places like this, are very hard. I think in the social sciences, in literature, in even economics and history, I think that will move digital much more quickly as well.
Right, one last question here. It's about DRM. So the question is, does Amazon plan to get rid of DRM? So is there a future for DRM?
Well, I think DRM, Amazon imposing DRM is a myth that has persisted for a long time. Particularly in the beginning of the business, no publishers would let us put books on Kindle if we didn't have DRM. But we have always let the publisher choose whether or not they want to have DRM. And so there are many publishers in the world today who choose not to put DRM on their books, and those books are DRM free on Kindle today.
Okay.
So from our perspective, and by the way, I can appreciate why a science fiction publisher for their audience might not want to have DRM in their books. Or some technical publishers in the US like O'Reilly do not put DRM in their books. And yet, if I were a textbook publisher, an educational publisher, I would think very differently about it. And so, even for the same publisher, DRM may be a choice they make differently on different books depending upon some of the dynamics in the market for that book. So we respect the choices of publishers in this regard, and I suspect that will be our policy in Brazil and in the future.